So I'm Scornaienchi. I'm the president and CEO of Agency59. We're an advertising agency here in Toronto, Canada. Our specific agency doesn't do a lot of cold calling or those sorts of things. What happens is when there are clients out there who, for whatever reason, are looking at doing, conducting an agency review. Again, they may not be happy with their agency, or if there's a client out there who wants to issue an RFP, like a request for a proposal, we will get on that list. Most of the new business activity in the agency comes by invitation. Someone has contacted me or has sent us an email wondering whether Agency59 is interested in pursuing this piece of business, in which case, if it is something that we're interested in, we will go for it, and understanding that we'll be competing against other agencies. So typically it's not so much about prospecting as it is about making sure you win your fair share of the new business pitches that come your way. At any given time, we're doing somewhere between 10 and 15 campaigns. So right now there's maybe about a dozen clients that we're active with. Again, it varies like everything does, right? But typically the process is the client, the prospective client, would issue some sort of a written questionnaire to maybe anywhere from 5 to 8 agencies. Those agencies would submit some sort of a package that answers all of those questions, and usually at that point you're including case studies. The clients will sometimes come here to the agency in this room. We've done lots of new business presentations over the years, and so you could sort of bring your case studies to life, talk a little bit more about what you've done for other clients. They may or may not award the business based on that. They may ask 1 or 2 agencies to come back one more time and maybe do a little bit of spec thinking, like the agency is asked to give their perspective either on what the client might do down the road or whatever, right? In some cases there might be spec creative involved. And so that process, the whole thing from start to finish, could take anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months, literally. One of the big surprises for me is how many people come into the agency wanting to work for an ad agency, and when I ask them about advertising campaigns that they like or dislike, they haven't given it any thought whatsoever. They're caught off guard and sort of trying to arrive at a campaign in the spur of the moment. So if you're applying at an ad agency, do yourself a favor and think really carefully about advertising campaigns that you think are strong and why, advertising campaigns that you think are weak and why. Look at the best advertising coming out of the best agencies all around the world. Think through which ones you are a fan of. And so you should be prepared in an interview to talk about not just even ad campaigns, but if somebody says name a radio campaign that you think is particularly strong, you should have an answer. And if you're arriving at an answer, in the moment, it won't be as good as if you've thought about it in advance and done a little homework around that. So come prepared if you're coming for an interview. And I think the other surprise for me is a lot of candidates who come in don't really know what the job entails. They know they want to work for an agency, but they don't really know what they're going to be doing, on a Tuesday afternoon. And there are a lot of resources out there now where you can find job descriptions on various positions in a company. Do yourself a favor and really go through that stuff so that when you're at the agency being interviewed, if somebody says, what kinds of reports might you issue on a regular basis? If you're trying to become an account executive, you can say, I'm going to probably be working on budget control reports, call reports, stats reports. Like, you will give the person who's interviewing you a sense that you know what you're in for, and that will go a long way. I have no major regrets, which is probably a good thing. There are always small regrets sort of along the way. Probably the most common one is occasionally in the life of either an advertising agency or probably relates as well to public relations agencies and whatnot. If there are difficulties with a particular client, by the time we realize the magnitude of those difficulties, it's sort of too late. So there are times where I regret I maybe didn't have my eye on the ball earlier in problematic situations, because they potentially could have been resolved. So those regrets exist on particular pieces of business that over the years we may have lost, or the client may have felt that they were being underserviced or something. But those are kind of far and few between. By and large, actually, I don't have a lot of major regrets. I don't think our agency has made fundamental business mistakes that led us down the wrong path or anything of that nature. So I feel good about that.